So now we want to prepare this for shading and lighting. So I want to add a few things here. So we will need the separate parts to shade them individually, right? So we will need the beads, we will need the hair, and we will need the actual cloth. So and also I want to create a new object, which is a seam here where these hairs are created. So let's do that. So first we're going to create a null for this beads. Okay, so we have only our beads here. Then I want to create a null only for the hair. I'm going to call it strings, not hair. And of course, the strings and the hair come to, and the strings and the cloth come together. So I need to separate them. So I'm going to use a blast, and I'm going to choose delete non-selected, and I'm going to select the strings group. So that's it's good to have groups so we can do this easily. So then we only have our hair here, which is great. And we're going to do the same for the cloth. So we're going to actually keep everything but the strings group. And now we have our cloth. Out. Okay. And before we go further, I actually forgot to create the UVs, and I always forget to create the UVs. So let's go back and do that. So this is actually pretty easy to create. So we're going to create them here, UV flatten. And now if I press enter here, you can see the UVs there. And now what I'm going to do is just select a few edges and cut them. So, oops. Okay, so shift click on the edges to cut seams. All right, so I can do that here actually. So let's see something here. So this is the X here. So this is the front, I guess. Okay, so I'm gonna start cutting here at the bottom so we don't see the seams. So just shift and now press A and it will cut everything for you. I don't know why I'm seeing this points here, but well, it's fine. Just shift and then shift A. For some reason it's not working for me. Yeah, shift A. Oh yeah, so I'm cutting. Okay, I don't want to do this to this small one. As you can see there, it's easier to see. So I don't want to do this to this one, so I'm gonna undo. I don't need to cut this, guys. So only through the ones that are bigger, so they kind of unfold. Same here. And this one, so shift A, and I think it's fine. I'm just gonna, how do you do this? Okay, it's here, repack, and they are okay. You know, we don't need better UVs for what we are doing. Okay, so that's done. So going back to where we were, we can actually see our UVs here, and if we play this, simulate it here, we can see that the UVs are all good. Cool. So now I want to create that seam here. So my idea is to render the lines instead of actually creating geometry. I want to render the lines with the redshift strands because it's you know, it's lighter. So let's create that seam then. So I'm going to pull this geometry here, rename these seams. Okay, so one thing to remember is that this geometry is still separated. The weld here only, it's almost like it's just a spring that it's connecting the points, but there's still 2 points here, 2 points here, 2 points here. And because I want to create a line here, I really don't want that. And also, I want to pull those points up a bit. So I want to have this all connected now. And the reason is because if I just create a line from this, what will happen is that I will have 2 lines. It will become a bit weird. So I want to add a fuse. And the fuse will just fuse those points there. And from the fuse, I can actually extract a group called snapped points. And I want to use a peak node to just pull the snap points up a bit, like this. Not like this, just a tiny bit. So the seam is not as deep when I, so I want something like this, lifted. So then when I render my cylinder here, it's kind of lifted and not inside of the geometry, as much at least. And now I want to use, you know, that group to create a curve from edges. So what I do is, so curve from edges, and now I choose those snapped points. I can actually need to promote them first. So I need to just promote the group and choose it here, snapped points, and I'm going to call it snapped edges. Keep the original, change this to edges. So now I have a group called snapped edges. I'm going to actually Control C this name and do it here. Okay. So now we have, if I middle mouse click, I have the snap edges somewhere like here. And now with that created, I should be able to bring them here. Yeah. So I need to actually, when I create this snapped edges and I promote it, I need to click include only elements on the boundary. So you just gets me this line here. I still have a few problems there, I guess, but this is because I think there's small patches of geometry here, which is fine. So now I will then use it as a seam, right? So I'm going to just resample. Change this to subdivision, and I think it's fine for now. Okay, let's save this. So, so now I have what I need for the seam. Another thing that I want to do is to clean up this a bit, because there's loads of groups and stuff that the solver actually creates. I don't need that because I'm going to cache it. So let's just cache this first. We're going to create a cache, file cache, and I'm going to connect this here. And then actually, I'm going to select this guys. Let's see if this works. And connect them here. Okay, perfect. Control T to refresh the viewport. And now I'm going to cache this, and then I will pause it, and I will come back when it's ready. I've actually interrupted the caching because what I want to do is a bit different, actually. Let me just pull this here so I can just grab these guys and pull them here. So what I want to do is to delete a few attributes before I cache, because I want to save space, and you know, that saves space on the cache. So I can delete the attributes that I don't need anymore. So there are loads of attributes I don't need, and actually I'm gonna only keep 2, I guess. So delete non-selected. I'm gonna start selecting them here. So the one I want from here, I'm gonna keep position, I guess, and actually from here I don't want any other one. I want the UVs. I want the piece attribute, and from here I don't need any. So and also I want to make sure I have a normal attribute, so I'm going to create the normals on the points. Okay, so now these are the only attributes we have. We have a few groups. I don't need a few of them, so strings, I'm going to delete the Vellum object 1 group and the stream default source group, and all the other ones I'm going to leave them because I might need them for some reason. So delete group delete, and delete unused. Actually, if I do delete unused, no. So I want to delete the Vellum object group, and I want to delete the stream. Okay, cool. So now it's cleaner. So let's now cache this again. So now we have our cache working perfectly. And I just want to do a few more things. I know that I'm gonna need a p-scale for my my seam. So I'm gonna create a p-scale here. An attribute create p-scale 0.01. I don't know. I will once we are at the render we will see. Also the same here. And like for the strings, the beads are okay. And what I also need is I want to use, at some point I will need to use this piece attribute, which is this one here, right? So I want to use a ramp in Redshift to color this objects, but I want to use this attribute to decide where to put the color. So, but the piece attribute here is on primitives, and I need to change it to points. So I just need to promote, do like a group promote, and then what I'm gonna do is just select the pieces or the piece attribute, which should be on primitives. Yeah, I can see it here, but I don't know why. I can put it there. And now I want to do a $OS and convert it to a new attribute called parts. And for some reason, the piece is not found. Oh, I'm using a group promote, and I want an attribute promote. Attribute promote. Okay. So from primitives to points, I don't want to delete, so keep, don't delete the original. And I want to change it to, okay, actually change new name is here, parts. Okay. Actually, I just remembered that the problem here is that our, let's see, so our piece attribute is an integer from 0 to 11, right? So each part has a number. Each of these pieces has a number from 0 to 11. But because I want to use this for shading, I will need to have a value from 0 to 1, so I can feed that into a ramp. And this is not doing that. So let's turn off this attribute promote. And first I want to remap the piece attribute. So primitives, and I want to, let me just make sure. Okay. So I want to change I don't know why it doesn't show here, but it will work. So I want to use the piece attribute, create a new name from that piece attribute called parts. Then I can compute the range. So it will compute the range of my piece attribute, so max and minimum. And now I want to change it from 0 to 11 to 0 to from 0 to 11 to 0 to 1. And now we have, if you see here, we have a parts attribute that goes from 0 to 1. And now we will do that. Grab the parts and convert it from primitives to point, and we don't need this. So now we have our parts attribute into the points. Okay, so we will see